Those Who Serve, proudly sponsored and supported by the law firm of Hiller Comerford. If you need disability benefits, it's Hiller time. Old Editions Bookshop and Gallery, 954 Oliver Street in North Tonawanda. With generous support from Danny Irwin. Alpha Stim, relieving anxiety and pain. For more information, go to alpha-stim.com. And WBBZ-TV, your hometown Me TV station.
Hi, I'm Terry McGuire, host of Those Who Serve. On episode 6 of Those Who Serve, we're going to have local jazz musician and composer Van Taylor, who's a great veteran advocate and great with veteran causes in Western New York. Also, we'll have Dr. Ali Al-Sol, who's the chief of medicine at the VA Western New York healthcare system. Dr. Al-Sol is a sleep specialist and will give us some more tips on how to get better sleep. Enjoy these shows and many more on Those Who Serve. Hello, I'm Terry McGuire with another episode of Those Who Serve. Today I have Van Taylor, a famous musician from Western New York, and he's got some great stories to tell. Van, thank you so much for being here on Those Who Serve. God bless you, and thank you for all the things that you do for veterans as well. But to get us started, Van, born April 25th,
That's right.
1956 in Buffalo, New York. Take us back a little bit. What was it like growing up in Buffalo in those days?
A fascinating time for me in a lot of ways. I grew up on the Polish side of Buffalo, New York. Different than a lot of people. We moved from one part to the next part, and that's where my music kind of started to take shape at.
And as far as that moment in time when you said, you know what, I think music is going to be my life, how did that all happen when you were growing up?
It was born. I was born that way. I love music, but most people would say I started in blues and jazz, started polkas, then Latin music, then came blues, then came R&B, then came jazz. But the rhythms of polka and Latin is what did it.
Who's your favorite artist? Do you have a particular artist that you like just blows you away, that you think, oh my God, there's been nothing like him? A lot of people that are guitarists will say, well, Jimi Hendrix does it for me. Is there somebody that you kind of stands out in your mind as the best artist?
I don't really have a best artist with different styles. I will always love the writing style of Stevie Wonder, okay, Marvin Gaye. Musician-wise, I kind of emulate Emir Deodato. The chord structures that he played, when you hear me play the chord structures, that's who you're kind of looking at. Then Ramsey Lewis, George Duke, those artists, how they play.
And Van, tell us a little bit about tying your passion for music in with the military. How did that come about?
Interesting process, being in Vietnam, being able to play for our soldiers, and then going to Germany and seeing the same soldiers injured some kind of way is how I did it. That was the beginning. And then most major conflicts since then is another thing. For instance, going real up for it, Desert Storm, Desert Shield, we were part of that.
Back in the early 90s.
That's right, the Balkans conflict, we were part of that. A lot of other missions, they would call us in, or the Pacific Fleet, especially, they'd fly us out because they're about to go do a major combat mission, okay? A lot of the Middle East troubles, we were there for diplomacy. Our music was the background to diplomacy. So we're very tied in, very, very tied into what you see on the news. Even today, we have been a part of for almost 35 years, from negotiations to PTSD. Our music is used to help heal. Our connection to the whole picture, traumatic brain injuries, how to settle and calm people down. We're connected to a lot of that through our music.
I know in Tennessee and different places where they have veterans that go through a therapeutic
That's it.
program of learning how to write songs and basically get a lot of their feelings out. And I encourage you to continue to do that.
Yes.
Coming up with some of these organizations that you've been a part of, whether it's part of the USO or the Armed Forces Entertainment Network,
Right.
or the Morale, Welfare, and Recreation.
MWR, yeah.
DOD, you've had a long association with them. Tell us how that developed.
We had a band called the Ace Tones, and we spent a lot of time going up and down the coast at naval bases and also playing at the different armories around the city. A lot of my relatives were Army, and so they encouraged me to do music for our active military and veterans, and that's where I started. After that, I got into going over Vietnam. I was selected to go as a musician to fill in with a country band.
You've gone all over the world and
Yes.
traveled extensively. I don't think there's anyone that I know that's traveled more than you have. You've probably logged enough frequent flyer miles to go around the world a few hundred times. But tell us some of the places that you've really enjoyed being and going to.
Well, went to Vietnam, early age, country band. Germany. That's where our veterans were going to being transported after they got wounded. From there, did a lot of work in the Central America, South America areas, on into the Pacific territories via Alaska. And then later on, we were asked to go to Europe, where we did go, and played Italy, France, Spain, that entire region, Norway, Portugal, the Azores as well. From there, as different conflicts arose, you always knew where we were going. You just watched a TV set that told us where we were going.
CNN Headline News. I'm Lynn Russell. U.S. and Saudi military officials say the first wave of Operation Desert Storm, as it is now known, has gone better than anticipated.
Now that you're a little bit older in life, I mean, is the travel still as arduous as it's always been, getting through some of the red tape and whatnot? Is it easier? I don't know. It could be a hassle, but you know, having the DOD behind you to smooth the way, so to speak, that has to help a little bit. It
did. It is easier today. You can ride and fly on a commercial jetliner. Back in the day, you rode on a C-130 or C-117. But yeah, it's a lot different today. We don't take 2 tons of equipment to transport. The equipment is already there when we get there.
If you had to hone it down to one particular place or 2 particular places that you like to play, where would that be?
2 places. I would say my favorite place is the French Riviera.
Okay.
We have a consulate and embassy there just outside of Nice. From there, I love the country of Jordan.
Okay.
From there, you see Israel, Egypt, right from there where Moses is buried, Mount Nebo.
Wow.
And when you're up there, you see all the places that's biblically written, but we had the opportunity to play for a lot of the sheikhs, the kings, the queens at that time. That was a fascinating experience.
You've grown up in Buffalo and you've seen its good and bad and the ugly, so to speak. Is there something that you think's in the air that we can go forward with here in Buffalo with our way ahead?
Well, I look forward to the reopening of the Colored Musicians Club.
That's right.
Yes.
It's coming up soon.
Which I plan to do an engagement there, down the line.
Do you mean I can take some lessons?
That's right.
Even though I'm a little bit older than most of the folks that go there to learn about jazz and different things, but I love playing in high school. But can I come back?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. But I'm going to call you out when we play.
I'm ready. We could do a Young Man with a Horn or something.
That's right.
Like that.
That's right.
We have upcoming events here in Buffalo with our annual Ship and Shore Party here at the beautiful Naval Park. We have one of the best naval parks.
The
in
largest
the
inland naval park in the United States.
That is
right
correct.
here in Western New York.
Tell us about your association with Ship and Shore, which is coming up in August. It's actually their biggest annual fundraiser coming up on August 21st. So
that's right.
Tell us how you support that every year.
Well, I try to go out and get musicians that are supportive of the military. And also as a member, an inducted member of the Buffalo Music Hall of Fame, I bring on board a lot of other members. So you have Tom Lorenz, an inducted member. You have Robin Grandin, an inducted member. We had Unity Band, that entire band is an inducted member. and so forth. So I do that, but I also reach out to younger people to introduce them to the Naval Park so that they can continue to support down the road.
I know you have a lot of great venues that you've been frequenting lately, to include some of the venues here in Western New York, but the CAS.
Yeah, the CAS.
That's a great.
Again, another Hall of Famer, Wendell Rivera there. We've had a young lady from Niagara Falls, Denisha, there. Okay, and just so many artists that we've had under 3 to Go Music is a whole different organization. But our music on the front lines is a combination of 3 groups: Taylor Made Jazz, okay, Melissa Kate, a very powerful singer, okay,
jazz vocalist.
Eli Seven, headed by Ron Walker, another Hall of Famer, and collectively, through education, we support music, we support the military. We work together on future projects, which we will continue to do so, future concerts, future presentations. And so look for that. 3 to Go Music Alliance, Music on the Front Lines, what's Taylor Made Jazz?
There you go.
You know, and of course, the Naval Park and all the things associated to it, as well as the African American Veterans Museum. Monument.
The monument, yeah, the African American Veterans Monument that was dedicated a few years ago.
Now to a historic day along Buffalo's waterfront. Officials unveiling the African American Veterans Monument at the Naval and Military Park this morning.
It's like kind of healing, because being in the Vietnam War, when I came back, you know, we weren't really recognized, we were looked down on.
You know, if you look at some of these great musicians, even today, some of these artists are in their 80s now, and they're still playing. You're still a young man, relatively speaking. So, what kind of future projects do you have?
I'm planning a major concert in Amsterdam with an orchestra there. We're working towards that and writing new songs for that. A couple of world projects that will benefit people. I have a passion for wanting to see what people do better, do good. Take care of the homeless, take care of the hungry, no matter what country you're in. We breathe the same air, we drink the same water at the end of the day. So looking towards that is a passion of mine. So those are the projects I look for.
I thank you so much for being here,
Indeed.
and I thank you so much for all the great work that you do with our veterans, and we're looking forward to seeing you at Ship and Shore on August 21st
And we
here at the
will
Naval
be
Park.
there. Yes, we will.
It's going to be great. Van
Thank you.
Taylor, thank you so much for being here.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. I'm so excited today to have Dr. Ali El Sol. He's our Chief of Staff of Medicine at VA Western New York Healthcare System. Ali, thank you so much for being here today and being a part of our interview. But one of the things I wanted to ask you, and I know you're one of our great sleep experts of Western New York, but what are some of the things that give us trouble sleeping at night? What kind of things prevent us from getting a good night's sleep? Because I know from our studies that a lack of good sleep can really affect our health.
Absolutely. Thank you, Terry, for inviting me. It's a pleasure. Sleep is such an important function of our daily lives, and often it's dismissed or underestimated in a way, yet it has significant impact on our daily function. So lack of sleep has been really associated with high blood pressure, with heart diseases. It also can affect our mood, increase our irritability, and also it affects our hormone balance, it affects our appetite. So no wonder sometimes why patients who have significant sleep deprivation end up with diabetes, weight gain, and sleep apnea.
Do you see some of these personal behaviors that we have? I mean, we're now in this cycle where people are binge watching on television. There's so many distractions. There's so many things that take our time up. Do you see some of those behaviors affecting sleep when you talk to veterans? Like, oh, I was on Netflix last night and I couldn't stop watching, and the next thing you know, it's 2 a.m. Are those some of the things that prevent veterans and the society as a whole getting a good night's sleep?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, the sleep deprivations, if we look at over the ages, I mean, definitely has gotten worse. If you look at the average of U.S. citizens in terms of how many hours they sleep, they are probably around 6 to 6.5 hours per night, which is significantly less what our body demands, which is close to 7 to 8 hours per night. We are really getting distracted with a lot of the environmental factors, what do we call them? For example, we cannot go to sleep without looking at our phones, making sure that we observe the last episodes of, whatever.
Right.
Other factors, for example, drinking alcohol or coffee before we go to bed, that are stimulants that really prevent us from having good night's sleep. The environment that we live in, if it is noisy, if it is hot, particularly during this time of the year, might impact our sleep. So all these factors has significant impact of how a good sleep we will have. And I don't have to say that when we have a bad night, the sleep fragmentation can lead to a lot of consequences. The first thing you notice during the day is that you have less ability of interacting or making sound judgments sometimes. And a lot of the time, lack of sleep have been resembled to being drunk. So this is why we sometimes underestimate the sleep deprivation. And we see it a lot in our veterans because they wake up a lot of the nights with nightmares. That impacts their ability of interacting or having an issues with irritability the next day. So all these really speaks for the fact that we need a good night's sleep to be able to function regularly the next day.
And as far as the impact of alcohol, we know sometimes, my understanding is sometimes it'll help you quickly get to sleep, but it impacts your sleep later in the evening. You don't get the type of rest and sleep that you would normally want.
Absolutely.
Is that true?
Absolutely. I mean, alcohol sometimes is used as a way to distract or divert our minds from depressing issues, but it has also negative consequences on a lot of other bodily function. Cognition is one important now that's associated with dementia, Alzheimer's disease. So this is why alcohol really is not the best approach if we wanted to go to sleep. And one thing I forgot to mention is that why sleep is very important is that particularly in veterans, those who have PTSD, in fact, sleep helps to attenuate what we call or extinction of this fear that happens, that acquired during the wars or the combat. And this lack of sleep prevents that extinction of these bad memories. So this is why it can increase the severity of PTSDs if we don't have a good night's sleep.
We have resources here at VA West New York Healthcare System to address that. Can you address a little bit of what veterans can do to help themselves with getting a better night's sleep? Depending
really on the type of sleep disorder, there are different approaches for treatment. If there is sleep apnea, the best treatment is the CPAP machine. It is the best treatment we have. For those patients who cannot tolerate CPAP, usually there are oral appliances which are kind of denture you put at night, and it helps to alleviate that obstruction, that windpipe obstruction at night. Now we are seeing more and more veterans coming to our clinic asking for what we call the Inspire device. It is what we call the hypoglossal nerve stimulation. It is a device that sends signals to the nerve controlling the tongue. And at night, this device sends the signal to the tongue, causing it to advance forward, and thus relieving the obstruction of the windpipe, and therefore relieving the obstructive sleep apnea. In patients who have insomnia, we encourage most of our patients first to adopt what we call the cognitive behavioral therapy, not to rush to use drugs or medications, because the impact of medications can be negative on the long run. So there are several devices. There are also apps, what we call most known as the CBTI Coach, which is a free download, an app. You can download it on your phone, and it is very effective in assisting veterans to go to sleep. When you look at the amount of advertising on TV for getting a good night's sleep, you see all these different supplements. Do you have any thoughts on those supplements? Do you think maybe they're heading down a wrong path, or maybe there's some better treatment options, especially
for our veterans that are out there?
They can be helpful, but it's not for everyday use, and there are interactions with other medications that's best to discuss with your primary care before taking these medications. Although they are available over the counter, we do not really advocate to do that unless we discuss it with your primary care, because there are other medications that the patient might be taking which might interfere with these medications, so that we be very careful.
So if you're a veteran here at VA Western New York Healthcare System and you're looking to seek treatment, the first thing they should do is check with their primary care doctor for those that are already enrolled in the system. So if they have an issue, go to your primary care doctor first and then get a consult and go from there.
Absolutely. So if the primary care decides or evaluates the type of sleep and decides that there is more need for testing, for example, doing a home sleep study or in-lab sleep study to diagnose what kind of sleep disorder you may have, the primary care might refer you to a sleep specialist, and the VA has a couple of clinics here, and we provide VVC and in-person visit, face-to-face visit. And during that sessions, we will go into details about the sleep factors, the factors that are affecting your sleep. We will provide sleep diaries to look exactly what are the difficulties in terms of sleeping, and then we will make a diagnosis, and accordingly we provide the treatments for the sleep disorder you may have.
If you think you're eligible for VA care or want to be enrolled, you can call 1-716-862-8829. That's 716-862-8829, and talk to one of our Veteran Service Center representatives who can adjust and help you get through some of these difficulties in getting enrolled here at VA Western New York Healthcare System.
And our providers are eager to assist and help.
And before we go, I just wanted to say too, you have a distinguished research career, and are there some great VA research projects that are ongoing that you can discuss, or are those kind of hush-hush right now?
So I would have to say that I owe my career to the VA and to the funding that I received from the VA in studying sleep disorders over the years. There is always new opportunities, new medications, new devices coming. There are, for example, devices right now being tested for sleep apnea that are different, a little bit different from what we call the hypoglossal nerve stimulation or the Inspire. There are new medications that are being tested, whether it's for insomnia or sleep apnea. So there is a lot down the pipeline that will maybe alleviate the sleep disorders. And everybody probably heard about all medications regarding the weight loss, whether it is Wegovy or semaglutide or GLP-1. These are medications that cause weight loss, but also they have been shown to decrease the severity of sleep apnea.
Oh.
And the VA is one of the facilities that provide these medications.
Well, that's an outstanding benefit for our veterans, that's for sure. But I just want to say, I want to thank you on behalf of all veterans of Western New York for being here today, talking about sleep apnea and sleep issues that affect us all. So, Dr. El-Sol, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks for watching Those Who Serve. We look forward to seeing you on our next episode.
Those Who Serve, proudly sponsored and supported by the law firm of Hiller Comerford. If you need disability benefits, it's Hiller time. Old Editions Bookshop and Gallery, 954 Oliver Street in North Tonawanda. With generous support from Danny Irwin. Alpha Stim, relieving anxiety and pain. For more information, go to alpha-stim.com. And WBBZ-TV, your hometown Me TV station.